It started with Coach Doran, and then we'll move on to Bailey Hockman and Isaiah Moore. So we're going to do one at a time. If you have a question for Coach Doran, you can go ahead and raise your hand using the Zoom function, or you can drop a line in the chat, and we'll go ahead and get started. Let me just let a few more people in from the waiting room. And it looks like we're good to go. So if you have a question for Coach Doran, let's go ahead and get started. Who would like to go first? I'm waiting for a hand or an indication. Oh, I can see Gary Smith's raising his hand physically. So Gary, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, sorry about that. I couldn't quite figure out where the hand raising thing is on Zoom, so I apologize in advance. Anyway, because Coach Doran, the other day, Coach Stoops talked about the journey that everybody has taken to get to this point, that even getting a season in, or some semblance of season, was quite an accomplishment for a staff and its players. I'm wondering, as we get to this final game and everything, what do you feel about everything that you and your staff and the university and the student athletes did to get to this point?
Yeah, it's definitely unlike any other journey, season-wise. There was a lot of things behind the scenes that, operation staff and training room staff, coaching staff had to do to get this thing right, our strength staff, so that when the players returned, we could keep them, out of harm's way to the best of our ability. And I think once we kind of got in the rhythm of it, the COVID aspect, other than being tested so many times, was pretty smooth here. But it created a lot. I think the unknowns of COVID, I think when it first started, we all thought it would kind of disappear quickly. And then when we realized it was here to stay, it was just a matter of being able to manage it, and on top of that, managing injuries that happen as normal throughout the season. And I thought our players did a really good job understanding what they should and shouldn't do, and keeping all of us safe. As concerned as you are about losing a player for 14 days, just as concerned or more for some of the staff we have that are in their 60s, throughout the season. We were fortunate to not have to deal with anything like that. So it's been a year that we'll never forget.
And one more thing, did you put it to the kids as whether they wanted to play in a bowl game or not?
The way they celebrated after we got bowl eligible, it wasn't much of a conversation to have. I think it's about finishing what we started, and this group has enjoyed playing all year. We have open dialogue. If it was a topic worth discussing, they would have came to me on it. You could tell from the get that they wanted to play and excited about the opportunity to be back in the Gator Bowl against an SEC team.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Gary. Let's go ahead to Mike Toper and then Brett Friedlander.
Good afternoon, Coach. Nice to see you. Wanted to ask you, and just looking as we get closer for a preview in Kentucky, they've had a little bit of inconsistency. They got their quarterback back. What have you seen out of them offensively as you prepare for them that might make it difficult for you guys to match up with?
Well, they're really big up front. They've got two decorated offensive linemen, and they're all experienced. They're big. Their tight ends are big. Their backs are big. Their quarterback can run, and they're dedicated to running the football. So, they make it a physical game. They do a nice job schematically, of creating numbers games and different gap schemes with misdirection. They're a good scheme, and their O-line's impressive. And I know they're a tight group. What they went through this year, losing their coach, and all the other things that we all went through, you can tell that those guys care a lot about each other. So it's going to be a very physical game against a good physical group up front from Kentucky.
Thanks, Mike. All right, let's go over to Brett and then Andrew Schneider.
Hi, Dave. I hope you and your family had a good Christmas. Good to see you. Could you go over where your team is physically right now, and do you have any players that won't be playing because either of injuries or other reasons?
I appreciate it, Brett, and Happy New Year to you. We're pretty healthy. Guys got some time to mend up, and had good preparation with good breaks in there to kind of keep them rested and fresh. As far as who's playing and who isn't, I'm not going to talk about that. We'll get to the game, and there's no reason to give any information like that out.
An unrelated follow-up. Last night after the basketball game, Coach Keats said that a lot of his players and his team kind of fed off the success that your team had. How do you feel like this season, just kind of from a program standpoint, what you guys accomplished, how that's kind of carrying over and feeding off of, that for other programs?
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things that makes our athletic department special. Throughout the season, Coach Keats, Coach Moore, Coach Avent, Coach Pop in wrestling, they would call me, text me, wish me luck, congratulations. It's a tight group, and we're all competitive, and we see each other's teams succeeding, and we want to succeed. We want to set the bar. I think there's good momentum. Obviously we're the first sport in the fall that gets to go, and what that generates, publicly for the other athletes is all positive for them, and we're cheering them on. Our men's team had a great win last night, and so, that's one thing that I love about this school. I think fan base wise and coach and student athlete wise, we support each other well.
Thanks, Dave. Good luck.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Brett. Let's go to Andrew and then followed by James Henderson.
Dave, has Devin Leary been able to get back into practice with you guys at all leading up to this game, and just kind of where is he at physically right now?
Yeah, Devin's doing well. Every day he's going through his rehab. He's out there throwing the ball, but he's not in practice yet. He's not ready for that, but he'll be, on track to be cleared when we return from, I guess, the winter break. But doing really well and out there without a boot on, walking around without a limp, and doing some good things in rehab.
All right, thanks so much. Let's jump over to James.
Hey, Dave, hope you're doing well. When you look at Kentucky schematically on defense, what type of a challenge do they present on that side of the ball?
Big up front, 350 to 370 pounds over the center, and one of their defensive ends is close to 280. Their stand-up linebacker, Buck, as we call him, is a long guy, leads them in sacks and TFLs. Linebackers are bigger kids. There's really nothing schematically that we haven't seen. It's just they've got some big personnel, and I think just matching up. We've played against big guys. I think Virginia had a really good size defensive line that compares when we played them. So, it's just about getting in good position, playing with great leverage, and playing with elite strain on the line of scrimmage and finishing blocks. I think from a coverage standpoint, they don't do a ton. They're pretty simple. They play hard. I think they understand their scheme, and we have to out-execute them, and play with better effort. That's what games like this come down to. I think both teams are very sound and play hard, so it's a good matchup.
Just to follow up, I know you stress this a lot, but just in this game, they really have done a good job in certain games turning the ball over. How important is taking care of the ball in this one?
Yeah, we're undefeated when we win the turnover margin, so it's critical. It's the one thing you can point to if you want a sure win is for us to take care of the ball and us to get it back and create some explosive plays in special teams. So it's always paramount. And if you watch the bowl games right now, I know last night's game, Florida threw a bunch of interceptions, and Wake Forest did the same thing, and both those games got away from them. So we've got to do a great job getting the ball back on defense. And probably their biggest strength defensively is they've had 13 interceptions that they've created. So I know we'll do a good job making good choices and catching the football.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Let's jump over to Mark and then Jonas and then Chris.
Hey, Dave, I was wondering if you've seen any individual players that have especially flourished under the adverse circumstances of this season, or if it's just really been a team that's been molded together.
Yeah, there's so many guys that have stepped up this year, and that's what makes this team fun. Each week we've won games in different ways, whether it's making a key catch or tackle or sack, interception, blocked a punt, blocked a field goal. There's a lot of guys that you could point to that have seized moments or opportunities to help this football team become what it is. So I think it's more of a team thing, and there'll be that opportunity again in this one. There'll be guys out there that haven't played as much as they've played in this game, and they're going to be key players, when you look at the outcome.
All right, Jonas, why don't you go ahead and then Chris.
Hey, Coach, thanks for the time as always. I wanted to ask you, and in all your years of coaching bowl games, is there I mean, I know a big part of it is the kids going down for the whole week and doing the whole bowl experience, but do you feel like there's a benefit for you guys staying in Raleigh this year and doing all your prepping here as opposed to being out and maybe some distractions in past years?
I don't know about that. I mean, I think every bowl game that I've been a part of, the kids got better. We enjoyed the time that we had together. We celebrated the season. Obviously, you want to win the game. But had we gone down there for 5 days, our kids would have prepared well. They would have focused. They would have showed up and worked hard, and we would have enjoyed ourselves as part of it. But, this year's just different. And so we've made the most of the opportunity. We definitely have had some good practices. And like I said, it was a long 12 weeks with 11 games. So they've had some needed time off.
All right, thanks, Jonas. Let's go ahead over to Chris.
Hey, Coach. I know that the main focus is this game and winning this game, but I also wanted to know if there's any evaluation that'll be going on in your head for players for next year, maybe who will fit in to certain spots for next season, or who you're going to be looking at for certain spots in the spring. Any of that kind of going on in your head for Saturday's game?
Well, during our practices until the last 2, we've had dedicated time to developmental periods, so we can really evaluate guys. We're always evaluating in games. You're looking at your guys and seeing where they can get better and giving them that information so they can use it in the off season. I don't think there's ever a time you turn that switch off as a coach, but it's not an experiment. We're not going to just put guys out there and hope that they do well. And we're going to play the guys that have earned the right to play and give them the opportunities to help us win.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Chris. All right, let's jump back over to Mark.
A light one for you, Dave. What's the best Christmas present you got this year?
The staff gave Sarah and I a little care package for the lake that had some things in it that I'm definitely going to enjoy. So let your mind do the talking on that one.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark. All right, looks like we got one more from Kevin Kuzminski.
Hey, Coach. Happy New Year to you. I'm curious because normally under normal seasons, we see the bowl structure work as similar matchups, similar records as far as, both teams go. But you're coming in here against a team that is below 500, and they're actually favored in the game. And I'm wondering, as far as that factoring into, I mean, obviously you all want to win every time for a lot of reasons, but I'm wondering if that is factoring in at all to the motivation levels of your players, seeing that, and does it feel disrespectful at all?
I kind of feel like we've been disrespected a lot throughout the season that way, and even in some of the all-conference stuff at the end. So it just adds to the chip that we carry here. I think we were picked to finish 11th in the league, and there wasn't a lot of guys on the preseason all-conference lists. There wasn't a whole lot of notoriety about anything in our program, and we continue to find ways to win games and do good things. So it just adds to the fuel that we have, to prove people wrong.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Looks like that's the last question for Coach. Coach, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Happy New Year's.
Safe travels to Jacksonville. Everyone sit tight. We're going to switch out. I think Bailey's going to be next. So if you have a question for Bailey, you can go ahead and raise your hand. Hi, Bailey. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We're going to go ahead and get started with Gary Smits of the Florida Times-Union.
Hey, Bailey, how you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Bailey, what's the most difficult part of transitioning to a team as a transfer, especially when they're in the same conference? And what made it smoother for you? And looking back, I would assume you have no reason to regret your decision. In what ways has that decision been positive? Maybe not only for football, but for your personal growth as a student athlete.
Yeah, I mean, transferring is definitely a difficult process. Just almost picking up your life and leaving it behind, and moving into a new life. And when you move to the new school, it's not like you're moving in with a class of 20 guys that you really get to know really well. It's really you by yourself, and you got to kind of find your group or find your way in a little bit, and it can be difficult for sure. But I had another guy, Levi Jones, who transferred in with me. So it was kind of me and him. We were roommates and just really good friends. So he helped me out a lot. I helped him out a lot just with the whole process. So yeah, it's been really good. I can't remember the second part of your question.
Yeah. In what way has being at NC State helped you grow as a student athlete, perhaps beyond the football?
Yeah, just the hard work culture of the whole program, and just being able to have guys that are willing to go out and get extra throws and get extra work and just put extra work in the weight room. And that's really what I was looking for, is just somewhere where I can go and have just that culture of the team, because that's what I kind of came from out of Georgia and in high school, and that's just what I was really looking for. And I think this place has it. And, it's good stuff.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Gary. Let's go over to Jonas and then James.
Hey, Bailey, thank you for taking the time and speaking with us today. I wanted to ask you in the bowl prep, since you guys have been here in Raleigh and you don't get to go to the city and do all the sightseeing and all the bowl stuff during the bowl week, how's the preparation been? Do you feel like the guys have been more locked in and it just feels like a business trip or just another away game like during the regular season?
Yeah, our guys do a great job. I mean, it seems like we're just always locked in. We're always ready to work. There's never a question if we were there or here or wherever we're at. The guys are just ready to work. I mean, it would have been awesome for like the younger guys and things like that, just to get the experience of the whole bowl game and being able to be down there and just have kind of just bond a little better. But it's definitely still been great. We still hang out in Raleigh and do stuff around Raleigh, and it's been really good. So the preparation has been great, and we're ready to go and have a good game.
All right, thanks, Jonas. Let's jump over to James.
Hey, Bailey, good luck this weekend. Your improvements this year during the season have been noticeable. And I'm interested, you always hear sometimes people say the light clicked on for a player. Was there a point like that for you where things slowed down and it really seemed to kind of, I don't know, just click for you?
Yeah, actually, the UNC game, I actually got benched in like the middle of the game, and they ended up coming back and putting me back in. And I had really studied hard for that game, was really ready and really prepared. And things just didn't roll my way, and that's how it goes sometimes. Just keep working, keep your head down. But in the second half of that game, I ended up throwing 2 touchdowns and ran one, and it just kind of realized look, I can do this, and after 3.5 years and going through the process of transferring and going to JUCO and having to do all that type of stuff is just, it was like, all right, I can do this. I can be a college quarterback and I can be successful. And just having that glimpse of the light just kind of really just propelled me forward to be able to, turn the season what we turned it into. And just the guys around me have done a great job, offensive line, receivers making plays, and just really supporting me. It's been a good year.
And just to follow up, the final 2 games of the year, it felt like the offense was more handed over to the passing game. Did that add to your confidence? I mean, just the trust they gave you down the stretch to kind of close out those games?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just being or having the confidence of Coach Beck and him just knowing that his coaching has taken me to the level where we can throw the ball almost at will, and it's great. It's a great feeling because it's just like, all right, call a pass play. That's just what I'm thinking in my head, every play. But yeah, it's been good. I think our passing game is very good. It's been great in practice. And we just keep working on it, keep fine tuning little things, little details, just to get better and better.
Thanks.
Sure.
All right, let's jump over to Andrew and then David.
Hey, Bailey, kind of a little bit in the same vein of that question. Looking at your season, there were ups and downs. Probably didn't start exactly the way you wanted, but for you to have finished the season the way you did, how much does it mean to you to be in this position now of getting to start for this team in a big time bowl game and try to lead them to the 9th win of the season?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, we got great guys in the locker room on both sides of the ball, and I'm just lucky to be a leader and be a guy in the team that gets to experience it with them, and they welcome me with open arms, and I'm just blessed with the opportunity to be the quarterback of this team. And, that's all I can say. Just blessed.
All right, thanks. Let's go over to David and then Jonas.
Hey, what's up, Bailey? I'm just curious, as you know, next year there's going to be a lot of competition at your position. So how important is it for you, in your opinion, to play really well and to kind of set the tone to be the front runner next year?
I mean, yeah, it's always important to play as good as you can as we're trying to win a game. But yeah, I mean, I think everything matters. There's not going to be anything that's overlooked. If I go out there and play bad, then maybe it goes the other way or whatever it is. But I think I'm in a good position, and I'm just going to keep working hard and stay consistent and just day to day, just make sure I'm doing the best I can with everything I do day to day, and all the stuff will take care of itself. So.
Thanks, David. Let's go to Jonas, and then we'll finish up with Kevin.
Yeah, I just have one more for you, Bailey. Did I hear that you had a relative who played at Kentucky before, or did I get some bad information?
Yes,
you
sir.
did?
My
Okay.
uncle, yeah, I just heard my uncle played at Kentucky as a quarterback at Kentucky. Yeah.
Have you been in contact with? Has there been some family joking back and forth this week, or in preparation or leading up to the game?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right, thanks, Jonas. Kevin, you want to take it home? I think you're on mute, Kevin.
Yeah, I just did. Bailey, I have one question for you. I asked Coach just a moment ago about sort of the feeling of the locker room, the feeling of the team being an underdog against a team with half as many wins as you. It's a weird year, so you got some interesting bowl matchups record-wise, but I'm wondering what y'all's motivation is. He said that he felt like y'all have been disrespected throughout the season, and I'm wondering if you sort of echo that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think we got a great team. We got great players. I mean, it's a storied program that has multiple wins, and we've won 7 ACC games for the first time ever, and just multiple things that this team has overcome and done. And to me and to the rest of the players, I think we just look at it as, it's just another step to help propel the program and help make the program better than what, it has been in the past and what it can be in the future. And yeah, it's just another step. I mean, they can put us down all they want, but we know what we got in the locker room. And I mean, that's it for me.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Thanks, Kevin. Looks like we've got one more from Mark.
Yeah, sorry, Bailey. I was just going to see if we could get any specifics about you and your uncle. What is he saying to you? What are you saying to him?
Yeah, there's obviously no bad blood. It's family before everything. It's been all positive. Just go out there, play your best, do your thing, stay composed. A lot of the I guess talking has been between his kids. Actually, he has two twin boys who are 13, and they're all fired up about it. They're like, hey, my dad played at Kentucky. I'm like, yeah, I know, and they've been fired up, texting me all the time. Ben and Eric, and they're loving it. So it's good for them. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. And thank you, Bailey. We appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you all.
We'll see you in Jacksonville. All right, hang tight. They should switch out for Isaiah shortly. Hi, Isaiah. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's get started. We're going to start with Gary Smits of the Florida Times-Union.
Hey, Isaiah, how you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
Okay, great. Hey, Isaiah, what about your defense does Aleem McNeil kind of goes from the inside out? Do a lot of the opportunities that you and Peyton get start with Aleem occupying a couple of blockers and the athletic plays that he can make?
Yeah, definitely. Playing defense, it all starts up front. So our front three, they all play a huge role. Of course, me myself, I play directly behind the lane most of the time. So yeah, definitely him taking them 2 blocks, him dodging the center and getting guys off balance, it definitely helps him to make a lot of plays. So he definitely plays a big part in our defense.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Let's go over to Brett and then James.
Isaiah, you were very instrumental and one of the leaders in the Pack United movement this summer. I'm wondering how much did that kind of bring your team together and maybe contribute to the success of the team and kind of start the ball rolling? And not only just your team, but the entire athletic program as a whole, because everybody participated.
Yeah, it's definitely been great. I wasn't the only person that started it, but as far as football, I guess I kind of led the charge here. But for what it's done for our team, we've had a lot of difficult conversations that nothing would bring us closer. not only with each other, but with our staff as well. I think they better understand us. We better understand them. As far as the athletic department, it's been pretty much adopted by the whole department. And our admin has been great. Mr. Boo has been great about giving us a voice and allowing us to use our voices in the right way. And other teams have done the same thing. Women's basketball, men's basketball, soccer, volleyball. Everybody's done a great job of just continuing to use our platform to be advocates for change. That's all we really wanted to do.
Do you hear from athletes in other sports about how your team has kind of set the tone and kind of gotten some positive momentum going that they picked up on?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a part of the Student Athlete Advisory Council, which is, it involves all athletes. So I talk to them all the time, and we just kind of converse and kind of just throw ideas at each other about what more we can do, and what they want to do, what we want to do, and we just bounce off each other.
Thanks a lot. Good luck in Jacksonville.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brett. Let's go over to James.
Hey, Isaiah, Kentucky's a team that really wants to run the football. Obviously, if you look at their numbers, you see that. They've got a big downhill running back. Do you feel like this is the type of game that sets up for your skill set?
Yeah, definitely. I love contact. I love playing downhill. So going up against a big offensive line, a big back, this kind of the game as a linebacker you want to play. You get excited for. So I'm definitely excited to play these guys.
And is there a similar fit on your schedule maybe that you see to a team that kind of resembles Kentucky?
Maybe not this year, but I know Boston College is pretty similar, just at least with their size and their downhill kind of running attack. Georgia Tech a little bit. They run kind of the same kind of gap schemes and zone scheme that Georgia Tech did. So yeah, probably those two.
Thanks.
All right, thanks. Let's go over to Jonas and then Mike.
Hey, Isaiah, thank you for taking the time and speaking with us. You're one of the few guys on this roster who played in the Gator Bowl when the team went down there a couple of years ago. Is there anything you can kind of take from that experience and kind of spread on to the young guys and kind of play you guys' favor going back this year in 2020?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I'm trying to preach to the young guys is that, making it to a bowl is definitely, an accomplishment, something you want to celebrate, but you want to win the game. So we have to make sure we approach practice the right way, approach the week the right way, and approach the game the right way so that when we go down there, we don't repeat what happened in 2018.
And just to follow up, because you guys have been in Raleigh this whole time and you haven't played since the Georgia Tech game, has it felt like fall camp all over again? You kind of start from the basics and had this time to work on yourself and work on your opponent heading to this game?
Yeah, a little bit. Practice isn't as long as it would be in fall camp, but just having this time, just not having classes, just being able to focus fully on football and just recovering from a long season. It's been great. I think Coach Doran and the staff have done a great job of giving us opportunities to recover and also get work in as well. So yeah, I feel like we're ready to go.
Appreciate it, Isaiah.
Thanks, Jonas. Let's go over to Mike and then Kevin.
Isaiah, good to see you, man. I wanted to ask, Bailey and Coach Doran kind of talked about, having the chip on your shoulder this year. And obviously, how everybody talks about the SEC. Is there a little extra juice for you guys to kind of prove yourselves and go up against an SEC team and, prove them wrong?
One thing, we've been trying to prove ourselves, all year long. So this is, nothing new. Like I think Coach said, we were picked up to finish 11th in the ACC preseason. And we took that as some disrespect, and we just wanted to not only prove them wrong, but prove ourselves right. So we believed in January what type of team we had and what type of team we wanted to be. And we felt like we put the work in, and we thought, we could go out here and play football and just see where the chips fall and where we finish, where we want to finish. As far as the SEC team, it's always exciting playing the SEC team. You see all the ESPN guys talking about it, how SEC is the closest thing to NFL. So it'll definitely be a challenge for us, and we're excited for it.
Thanks, Mike. All right, let's go over to Kevin.
Hey, Isaiah, Happy New Year, man. I wanted to follow up. Actually, it's relevant to what Mike just asked you, kind of a little bit similar. Dave was out here talking to us a little bit about sort of the disrespect you all felt all season, and it seems like you sort of echo that as well. I'm wondering what your mentality is in this very weird year where you have some different weird records going against each other in bowl games, to be an 8-win team as an underdog in Vegas to a team that won 4 games, and their 4 wins were over teams that went 8-31 combined overall. I'm wondering how that makes your locker room feel and what motivation it provides you.
Like I said, we've been trying to prove ourselves the whole season. So this is, nothing new. I'm pretty sure we've been picked to be underdogs in the majority of our games this season, and you know, our record speaks for itself. And we just want to go down there and play the best football that we can. You know, let the outside guys do our talking. But our focus is definitely, you know, on us here in the Murphy Center and playing our best ball.
Thanks, brother. Good luck, man.
Appreciate it. Happy New Year to you too.
Thanks, Kevin. Looks like we've got one more from Jonas.
Yeah, Isaiah, I got a follow up to something you just said. You said you hear so much about the SEC and people compare it, say it's the next best thing to the NFL. When you guys played A&M a couple of years ago, could you tell was it a big talent difference, or what was the biggest difference about playing in an SEC school from what you can remember?
You know, the size, they had great size, you know, great athletic ability. You know, it's a great conference. They produce a lot of NFL guys. You know, we produce a lot of NFL guys here at NC State as well. So, you know, we're just excited to play a big time opponent, and we just can't wait to get down there in Jacksonville.
All right. Thanks, Jonas. Looks like that's the last question. So thank you, Isaiah. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Safe travels. All right. Thanks, everyone. That concludes today's press conference. We'll be sending out transcripts and video links shortly.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Take care. Safe travels.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.